It's the Our Practice Makes Perfect podcast coming to you. Here we go. Now listen, I'll be honest. I was actually hoping that this video wouldn't be necessary. I was thinking that maybe this beneficial owner information registry, this whole idea might blow over, that it might be unconstitutional. And in fact, there is a federal judge who found that it is unconstitutional. That, of course, is under appeal. But at this point in the year, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we're going to have to deal with this. The whole thing feels a little big brother to me, and maybe I should just suck it up. Maybe I'm old-fashioned and I need to get over it. You guys let me know what you think about it once you've heard exactly what you're in for. But whatever you or I might think about it, I think this is here to stay. So we're going to have to talk about it and stay compliant. So here we go. Today's episode is everything you need to know about the beneficial owner information requirement. Let's call that BOI for short. That seems to be the acronym we're going with. It's part of the Corporate Transparency Act. So let's talk about what it is, what disclosure is required, what are the timelines for all that, and let's just dive right into it. Part one. Okay, what is it? So, in short, it's a disclosure requirement, a new one. It's going to affect all business owners because it's at the federal level. So if you're thinking you'll migrate your company to Delaware or Nevada or any one of these states that we've traditionally used for asset protection purposes or just, more corporate friendly laws, it's not going to work. This is a federal law. Now, the BOI, as we've discussed, stands for Beneficial Owner Information. And it's the government asking about the individuals who are behind these entities, these business entities. When I say the government, I'm referring to FinCEN, which is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. Now, we will get into the details about exactly who needs to disclose and what needs to be disclosed and if there are any loopholes. But just for now, understand that FinCEN has a website they put together for collecting all this owner information, and they're going to keep it in a registry. Actually, let me correct myself there a little bit. I shouldn't say owners because that would be fairly easy to get around. In fact, the government wants to know the human beings that are actually behind. So whether you as an individual are an owner directly or indirectly, it's your personal information that the government's after. So what kind of information, you might ask? Okay, well, your name, your date of birth, your address, and your ID number. So your driver's license or passport, and you will be uploading a copy of your ID, so they'll also know what you look like. Part two, why is this happening? Well, as you can imagine, the government is going with anti-terrorism, anti-money laundering, and just other illicit crimes. So this crackdown, which has been the trend, obviously, greater transparency, more tighter governmental regulation. That's the theory behind it. Now, we got this BOI reporting requirement as part of the Corporate Transparency Act. Let's call that the CTA, which is in turn part of the National Defense Authorization Act. Don't worry, I'm not going to throw any more acronyms at you. This was back in 2021 when we really started seeing this trend towards greater transparency and tighter regulation. Now, if you have your own theories as to why the federal government would need to have our personal information in connection with all our business ventures, drop it in a comment below. I would be interested to hear your thoughts. I mean, maybe I've already confessed that I'm not a big fan. And maybe it's kind of old-fashioned of me. Certainly, this does seem to be the trend. I guess the counter argument is if you have nothing to hide, then what's your problem? But let me hear your thoughts, because I will admit I'm not crazy about this one. Part three. Okay, who has to disclose? Well, let's start with the human beings. So, if you, indirectly or directly, are an owner of 25% or more of the company, or if you have substantial control of at least 25% or more of the company, then you must disclose. Now you're thinking, exercise substantial control. That is a very particular phrase. What is the government getting at there? Well, I think what they're getting at is that you can't hide your influence or your control over a company by being, say, a director on a board of directors. So let's imagine that there are 4 directors on the board and you're one of them. Well, then that's 25%. And assuming that the board is the one calling the shots and steering the company, well, then you would then have to disclose. By the same token, in the context of LLCs, if there are multiple managers, well, let's say there are, as many as 4 managers, and you're one of the managers, same deal. That's 25%. You would need to disclose. It would not be typical for an LLC to have so many managers. So, generally speaking, I think if you are the manager of an LLC, you're in. Now let's talk about the entities. And this is where there's a little gamesmanship, potentially. This is where the lawyerly stuff comes in. So let's get into that. So the way the law is framed now, we are to be thinking in terms of state registration. In other words, if your company is registered in Florida, which would be Sunbiz, or California, or any state at all, then your company is subject to this requirement, the disclosure requirement. So obviously, corporations and LLCs, also limited partnerships, these entities that have to be registered with the State Department, whether they're profit or nonprofit, they're in, must disclose. All right, so now what about a trust or a sole proprietorship or a general partnership? These types of entities, not only do they not have to be registered with the State Department, but with the exception of a business trust, they can't be registered with the State Department. So, is that a potential loophole? Now, I would like this video to age well, so I'm going to refrain from saying you should all run out and start setting up trusts. And I love me some trusts. But I am having visions of clients paying me to set up a trust, and then the very next day, the government closes that loophole. You know what I mean? It just does seem unlikely that the government would allow the spirit and the intent of the BOI requirement to just be so easily sidestepped. Nonetheless, as it stands now, that is the rule. So, put that in your back pocket. If it serves you, albeit temporarily, be aware. There is that potential loophole. Part 4, when to disclose. All right, so this breaks down into 2 categories, whether it's a new company or an old company. Starting with the new companies, if your company is younger than the beginning of this year, January 1st of 2024, then the requirement immediately kicks in. Well, maybe not immediately, but your company is subject to the disclosure requirement. They gave you 30 days to make that reporting. But then, I don't know, maybe the Alabama case had some sort of repercussions or just the word wasn't getting out very well. But for whatever reason, FinCEN now extended that to 90 days. So for any company registered with the state on or after January 1st, 2024, you have 90 days to do the BOI disclosure filing. So what our firm has done is we just make the recording part of our company formation services. So, we register the company with the State Department, get your EIN, and then turn right around and do the BOI. There doesn't seem to be any reason to wait 90 days, so we just make it part of the initial package. Now let's talk about old companies. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, my company was formed prior to the 1st of January 2024. So I'm in the clear, and if I need to set up a new venture, well, maybe I could buy a shelf company that pre-exists January 1st, 2024, and get around the requirement that way. Well, good thought. I thought the same thing, but, wrong. Because as of January 1st, 2025, all companies will have to do the BOI filing. And that's why you didn't see a flurry of emails from me about buying shelf companies, because although you may have a few more months left this year, it tolls for thee. Just as an aside, what exactly is a shelf company, you might wonder? Well, that's a company that is registered but then doesn't have any activities. You just figuratively put it on the shelf and let it age. Now, why would anybody care to have an aged shelf company? Well, there are some good reasons for doing so. Credit worthiness, for example. Some lenders will only lend to companies that have at least 2 years of history. There are licensing agencies that care about how long the company has been in business, and for that matter, just clients. Recall that in Florida, it's very transparent, so anyone can go right online to Sunbiz and see how long a company has existed. So, sometimes clients it inspires confidence, right? Anyway, unfortunately, that's not going to work. So that's why you didn't see any emails from me about shelf companies. Instead, maybe I'll give it a month or so and see if, I don't know, maybe the Alabama case will have some sort of fallout. I don't think so, guys. I think we're stuck with this thing. At that point, you're going to see some emails from me, but it's going to be about doing the BOI reportings. Now, I'll send instructions in case you want to do the reporting yourself, and that's not just for altruistic purposes. I'm about to tell you why I would be very happy if you do the reporting yourself. Of course, it is the sort of thing that if you don't get it right, there could be some consequences. So if you'd rather that my firm handle it, we will do so. And that brings me to my final point. Guess who else has to disclose to FinCEN? We do. I mean, the person who's doing the disclosure on behalf of the company, that person is considered the applicant. Kind of counterintuitive, but for whatever reason, he or she, the person doing the forms, filling out the forms online, have to also provide his or her personal information. So, if you're the owner and you're reporting for your own company, okay, well, fine. So then you'll give your personal information twice. And I'm talking about the whole thing. Name, address, date of birth, upload your ID, the whole thing. You're going to have to do that twice. One, as the applicant, and two, as the beneficial owner of the company. But if you hire me or somebody else to do it for you, that individual also has to disclose. I cannot imagine what the rationale is for that. If you have some ideas, I'd love to hear them. Drop them in comments below. But I don't really care for it. That's it for this one, guys. Like it or not, it looks like we're stuck with this requirement. Recuerda que hablamos español, and we will be talking more soon.